Guys, welcome to my channel LogicBytesbyAK, and today we are going to check out our LeetCode daily challenge question problem of the day, which is maximum number of points with cost. I hope you read the question description, and let me give it a try. So you are given a m by n matrix points, and which is zero based index, and starting with 0 points, you want to maximize the number of points you can get from that matrix. Okay, we have to get maximum number of points from that matrix. To gain points, you must pick a cell in each row. Picking a cell at coordinates r comma c, I mean rth row and c column, will add points of RC to your score. It means there is a limit of selecting number of elements for each row, right? It means for each row we should consider only one cell, and we have to get the maximum number of points, right? So, however, you will lose points if you pick a cell too far from the cell that you picked in the previous row. Okay. So how we lose the points? For every two adjacent rows, R and R plus 1, picking cells at coordinates R comma C1 and R plus 1 comma C2 will subtract absolute difference of C1 minus C2 from your score. Return the maximum number of points you can achieve. Okay, it was, I hope you understand the question, and let's get in detail and get more explanation or more clear with the question by observing the example. So in first row, to get maximum points, which element we should take? I mean, by considering 3, you will get maximum points, right? So we consider 3. And for the next row, you have to consider a element such that it contains a maximum value, and it contains maximum by losing the absolute column distance from previous selected element, right? So if we choose 1 and we get 1 point, plus we have to subtract the loosely points, right? By selecting 1, how many points you will lose? We will lose 2 points, right? Because what is the column index of 1 here, which is 0, right? And its previous row is 0th row. In 0th row we selected 3, which is column index is C2, I mean 2. Let us consider C1 value is 2 and C2 is 0 for 1, and what is the absolute difference is 2, right? And we have to subtract those 2 with 1, and we get minus 1. If we choose 1, the points will be minus 1, right? So if we choose 5, the points will be 4. How? Initially we got 5, and the column distance from previously selected element is 1, which is 3 is at second column index and 5 is at first column index. The absolute difference of column index is 1, and we remove that 1 point from the 5. So we add 4 points to the 3, right? We are total of 7 points, right? Now when coming to the third row, we considered 3, and which is, by considering 3, how many points we will add to the total? 3, and we have to subtract the column index absolute difference, right? Absolute distance, and previous row is selected 5, which is column index is 1, and for 3 column index is 0. It means the absolute difference is 1. By removing the absolute difference of 1 in 3 points, we get 2 points, and we add 2 to the total, and previously we are with 7, and by adding 2 we get 9. And you can think that why didn't we consider 1 and these two ones, right? But considering these two ones, you will get less than 2 points. Let us say if you consider this one and previously selected element and this one are in the same column index, so the absolute difference will be 0, right? And we subtract 0 from 1 and we add 1 to the total score, which we get 8, total of 8 score. And for this one, the column difference is 1, right? Which is 5 is at first column index and 1 is at second column index, which is absolute difference is 1, and we subtract 1, which is absolute difference from 1. We get 0 points if we select 1, right? So we add 0 to the 7 previous, which is 7 is previous total. So we get maximum 7 here and 8 here and 9 here. So we consider 9 as our answer. So let us take one more example and get more clarity about the question, and further we can code it up. So yeah, okay guys, let's explore one more example and get more clarity about the question description. Okay, so the given input array is like n by a matrix which n with 5 rows and 4 columns, and the given input array is like this. So for the first array, let us find what are all the possible ways for every I comma j. I mean, if you take, let us say if you take 6 and you consider 6, it means you added 6 to the total points, and what you have to do, you have to find the next maximum element in the next row, right? Oh, without any condition the maximum element would be 3, right? So if we add 3 to the total we get 9, and we have to also subtract the column distance, right, for 3 and 6. So let's explore each option, right? Okay, now let us say we are at 6, we are finding the possible maximum possibles for 6. Okay, so what are all the options? I mean, we have for 6, let us say we have these three values, right? And one is at 0th index, and we are at currently at 0 index. If we consider 1, what is the absolute difference from 6 to 1 based on column, which is 0, right? And what is the column distance from 6 to 3, which is 1? And what is the column distance from 6 to 2, which is 2? From 6 to 0, which is 3. It means if you consider 6, and you have to you have to find the next maximum element, right? So what we have to do, we have to subtract these distances from the elements, I mean from the values which are stored in the next row, and we have to add it up to the total. So 1 minus 0 would be 1, 3 minus would be 2, 2 minus 2 would be 0, 0 minus 3 would be minus 3. And if we take 6, we have to take next maximum, right, which is 2. And for that we get maximum of 8, total 8 for first 2 rows. And by exploring other options for 2, we get these are all options on these. So we can explore. I mean, you have to iterate over every I and j and find the maximum element in the next row by subtracting the column index of that every element and your current j. It means our expression would be like, okay, let's see this statement. Let's forget about dp with it means just an array. So what you are doing here, for every element you are iterating over the columns of, and you are finding the maximum element with next row next row, and you are adding, I mean, you are adding the next row jth element plus subtracting the column, right? Sorry guys, there is a mistake. Let me improvise it. Let's see what you are doing. For every points of I comma j, you are iterating on next row elements, right? Say let's column equal to 0 to m, which m is excluded, and you have to find the maximum of points of I plus 1, right? I plus 1 column 1, which accesses the next row element, right? For every column we get that element, and we have to subtract the column based distance, right? Absolute of, here for next row the column index is column, and for it is, for the previous element it is j, and by taking the maximum of next row elements we added it to the, I mean, we replace it with the maximum value, right? I hope you understand this statement. It's nothing. It is very simple. Just check out the example once. I hope you are clear with this question. It means suppose we have 9 here. For this 9, you have to find the maximum element in the next row, right? Next row contains 2, 1, 2, 3. And by subtracting the column distance from those elements, whatever you are left with, you have to consider those maximums to the current element, right? And in this, initially for the first row, you don't have to subtract any column distance, right? Why? Because there is no previous element, and we can directly choose the maximum element in the first row, right? So I hope you are clear with this. And if you have any doubts in the logic, you will get more clarity while we coding up. Okay, feel free to comment down your issue or query in the comments. Okay, guys, before going to coding part, let me explore the solution more clearly. And we solve this approach by doing, I mean, bottom up approach. And for initially, the last row contains the default values, which are 3, 1, 1. And for 1, we find the maximum element in the previous row, right? And this will be our previous row, and this will be our current row. And the current row will always update. I mean, for every iteration, it will update, and as well as previous also, it will update for every iterations. So we need to maintain a current array and the previous array of type long, because by adding these integers we have to return the total points of data type long may, right? By updating the points table we may get integer overflow. because the given constraints looks, I mean, sorry, it's not the given constraints can add, we may get the long, right? So we have to return long, and the points array was integer. We cannot update the point array. So we maintain a current array of size columns and pointer array size columns. Initially previous array is contains the last row elements 3, comma 1, comma 1, and for every current array we find these, we iterate on previous array and we update the current array for every element, and after populating the current array we will make it as previous and we move iteration to current, right? So I hope you are clear. It will be clear by taking up the code. So let's put it. So initially find the number of columns, points dot length, and m equal to points of 0 dot length, right? We need two arrays of long type which are previous equal to new long of size a columns, and we need a current array of long with size of m, and previous should be initialized with last column, right? Because we are coming bottom up approach, and for last column there is no, next row, so it will be same, there is no change in it. So by iterating over every column and we fill previous array of jth index with long type of points of n minus 1, right, which is last row and jth column. So for this part we are populated previous array and we have to iterate from n minus 2 row to 0th row, right? Firstly we have to iterate over n minus 2 to 0th row, and we have to iterate over every element, right? J less than m, j plus plus, and for every element what we have to find, I mean let us assign the current, for first the pointer array, for current array we add the, sorry, for current index of, j, we will add up points of I comma j. By adding this, and what we have to do, we have to get the maximum number from the row, right? So yeah, let's remove this statement. Let's say we have long type of max variable, and we have to find the maximum points from previous row, right? So we iterate on every column, every column, and what we have to do, we have to get the maximum points, right? Math dot maximum of maximum. And how do we get the maximum points? By adding the points of I comma j, and we have to subtract the maximum points, right? We have to subtract the absolute difference of j comma column, right? So here it's not I, it's I plus 1. We have to find the next maximum, right? So points of I plus 1. So we have to find the maximum element in the I plus 1th row at column K, and we have to subtract the absolute difference of J column. I mean, previous is J and current column is at column 0, right? So we get the maximum and we have to store that maximum into the current of J. Current of J equal to maximum. So for this loop, maximum. For this, after completing this, we populated the current array by taking the maximum points from the next array. I mean, it's previous, which is the next array, and we have to make previous as current. So by the end of for iterating over every row, we get a previous column, and our result contains in previous, right? So let's take a long of result equal to 0, and let me iterate over an element in previous. R is equal to math dot maximum R is comma element, and finally we have to return RS, right? I hope this is correct, and let me check it once. Okay, we got an error. Method not found. Sorry, you have to subtract these, right? Not comma. You have to subtract. You have to find the absolute difference of the value. Oops, we got a wrong answer. So let me check out the code again where it goes wrong. Yes, guys, if you guys notice, and we have to check the next maximum in the previous array, right? I forgot it that I was checking in the uh, matrix itself. So let me run it again. It still goes wrong. I think I made a mistake at some point. Where was it? Yes, guys, I think I made a mistake here. We have to check for every previous array, right? So let me just update this and let me define it before the declaration part. And let me check at the end of loop also. So, oops. Okay, guys, I just removed the updating previous array. So up to now, we are updated the current array, and we have to update the previous array as well as we have to update our answer. Right? Int j equal to 0, j less than m, j plus plus, and we have to do previous of j would be current of j, and our answer res will be maximum of res comma previous of j, right? And finally, we return our res or maximum points. Let me check it again. Due to these issues, is confusion. I got more confused in this topic. I hope it worked well. Guys, it is a easy solutions. Uh, Please refer and watch it again. Let's hope. You know, we got the wrong answer, guys. So it got wrong. I hope you could find it, or I can say that where we got that wrong answer here. Let's check. Previously, we are storing the last row, right? But before storing that, we are not checking our, we are not updating our RES with the first previous row, right? For this, it excludes all the values which are present in that. Further, we miss the 10, right? Match dot maximum, my mistake. I got accepted. I think it will be enough, or it will be good for this. Yeah, I know, I know. I said I will give the most optimal solutions for every questions, but I think the video length became so much long due to, proper way of saying explanation. I got the code in my mind, but the explanation wasn't coming. So thanks for guys watching. Anyway, if you don't understand any part of the code, just rewatch it again. And still you face, if you are facing any queries, please comment down below, and I will, as soon as I see the comment, I will reply to you and I will explain in a more detailed way. So thanks for watching, guys, and please share with your friends. And if you want more solutions or more problem solving solutions, I can provide the playlist channel links so you can refer them. So thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye. See you in the next lecture. Okay. Bye.